Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So it's 2017 and I wanted to do a video today that I've never really done before. I always sit here and I talk about clothes or makeup or stuff like that, and I've never really just sat down and had a chat and been open, and I really just wanted to have a chat about the last 2 years because I've now had my channel for 2 years. I don't know where that time's gone, it's gone past so quickly. So yeah, I just wanted to go back from the start and talk about the highlights and the low points of the last 2 years and everything that I want to achieve in 2017 here on my YouTube channel. So before I start, I just want to express to you how thankful I am that any of you are just sat here watching in the first place. Without you, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I've managed to be able to call YouTube a job, which is beyond belief really, and if it wasn't for all of you watching and subscribing and liking and leaving comments and just taking time to do those things, then like none of this would be happening. And just like from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I'm literally just sat here talking in my bedroom about the things I love, and there are almost 500,000 people here. Yeah, it's just absolutely insane, and I can't believe how far it's come in just 2 years. So yes, let's go back to the beginning and talk to you guys about why I started doing this in the first place. So I've always been really into YouTube, I've always been really into blogs and just the whole online world, and I've always been very creative as well. And it was like the summertime of 2014 and I started to like get really into YouTube. Like I've always watched makeup tutorials and that kind of thing, but I started watching hauls and more like get ready with me's and that kind of thing. But I didn't really have a lot of self-confidence, and the thought of putting myself out there really just frightened me. I just wasn't confident enough to really do it. At the time I was working part-time as a model. Well, I was kind of doing it full time, but I wasn't booking jobs every single day, so it was kind of part time. And then I was also working at Hollister part time as well, and I was just really unhappy in myself. I was really unhappy in what I was doing, and that is eventually what drove me to start. I felt really inspired by it, and I knew that like obviously I just am obsessed with clothes and makeup. I'm like the girliest girl ever, and I just felt like I had so much to say and so much to give and tell people, and I had all of these ideas buzzing around in my head for months, but I just didn't have the confidence to really go through with it. I remember kind of like the final straw, the thing that eventually just pushed me to do it and made me decide like I'm gonna give this a go. I was on a commercial shoot for a online clothing brand. It was just such a rubbish day. Commercial shoots are kind of awful because they're always such a long day, and models, I mean it depends. I don't want to say that all people treat models badly because that wouldn't be true, but a lot of the time when you're booked as a model on a job, you don't get treated fantastically. And I was just having like a really bad day. I was so tired, I was just so done. These girls arrived onto the shoot and they were all like dressed up really nicely, and they had like bags and bags of clothes that the brand had given them. Yeah, I was just kind of intrigued. I was like, who are these girls? I thought they were celebrities, and the makeup artist said, oh, they're the bloggers. And I just remember being really shocked at the difference between how the models were treated and how the bloggers were treated. And I remember thinking like, do you know what, I'm so done with this now. I want to be on that side of the room with those girls, not here feeling miserable. And it's so funny because now a couple of those girls that were on that shoot I'm friends with now, and we've talked about it and just laughed our heads off. It's so funny because they actually said that they thought the models were really rude and it's probably because all the models were miserable, to be honest. So yeah, then I decided to start, and I filmed a video in my bedroom, and it took me about like 6 weeks to upload it because I just didn't have the confidence to press post. And yeah, I eventually posted my first video. It was Christmas Eve 2014. I remember being at a party and just like refreshing the app to see if it had any views, and it was kind of getting views and comments, and I was like, oh my god. And then I just uploaded sporadically. I think by May I had about 10 videos, and they were just random uploads. I never had an upload day. I didn't really know about upload schedules or YouTube banners or even connecting your Twitter and Instagram with YouTube. I just didn't put the pieces together in my mind. And I think you could say that in a very short time between like December and May, so that's about 5 months, my channel kind of, I don't want to say exploded because that's a bit far, but it did grow really quickly. I think by May I had about 100,000 subscribers, and obviously like I never expected that to happen. I hoped it would happen. I hoped that eventually I would grow an audience, but I never expected it to happen that quickly. And it was just so exciting, and the novelty still hasn't worn off. It doesn't feel like 2 years ago. It's ridiculous. And then I got signed by a management company who manage social talent, YouTubers, that kind of thing, and they sort of guided me. They told me about having an upload schedule, using my social media simultaneously with my YouTube channel and that kind of thing, and they really helped me a lot. And I was with them for a year, and my channel continued to grow. I worked with a few brands, not very many because I was still quite new, and I've always been quite fussy about the brands that I've worked with, but I'm going to touch on that again later on. So I was there for a year, and in that year I feel like that's really when my channel, I really started to get into it. Obviously I started uploading videos every week, and with different management now, which again I'm going to talk about later on as one of the highlights of this year. And here I am now. I'm just carrying on uploading videos every week, and it just really doesn't feel like that long ago since I uploaded my first video. In some ways actually it feels like a lifetime ago, but it really doesn't feel like 2 years ago, and I just can't believe again how far it's come in that time and how big this channel is now, how many people are watching. It's just mind-blowing. Lots of people ask me how I started, and I guess I just uploaded a video. Like, that's how anyone starts. Everyone just starts from somewhere. I think lots of people think that I had like a following before I started through like modelling or something, but I absolutely didn't. The only followers I had were my friends on Instagram, so it was literally just out of nowhere. So another question people always ask is, why do I think my channel grew so quickly? And it's really hard to say. No one really knows how this whole YouTube thing works. I think that's been proven by the horrible views in December, just videos not going into people's subscription boxes and that kind of thing. We don't know how it works, so it's really hard for me to answer that. But all I can say is that from the start I knew my image. I knew that everything, I mean, it's not false because it's just me, but I'm super girly. Everything I buy is pink and rose gold. I think I had like an identity that was kind of different to anyone else on YouTube. Not anyone else, but sort of the people that I was watching at least. I thought, I really like them, but I'm different. I'm myself. I didn't try and make myself like anybody else. I wasn't basing myself off anyone else. I wasn't trying to copy anyone else. I was just being me. What I would also say is that I was aware that the quality of videos and content on YouTube now is so strong that it wasn't going to be enough to sit there and record it in the dark on my webcam, edit it in 5 minutes and upload it. I knew that the quality had to be up to scratch, and it took a lot of work, and that's what it was going to take, so that's what I did. So that's all I can really offer when you ask me how my channel grew, because it's a mystery. But they're the only things I can think of. I had a good identity, I kept true to myself, and the quality was decent. It's definitely improved a lot, I hope, but it was decent for someone just starting out. So next I wanted to talk about, this is another question that I got asked a lot, the kind of ups and downs, the highlights and the low points of the last 2 years and YouTube as a career, which, can I just say, I still feel slightly self-conscious saying like, oh, when people ask me what's your job and I say I'm a YouTuber, because it just sounds so crazy, which it is, but there's a lot more work involved than I think people realise, which is something I'd like to talk about. If you asked my family or my boyfriend, they would tell you how hard I work on this channel, and it can't seem like a lot to you. You see one video a week, about 10 minutes, and it can't seem like very much to you, but the effort and the work that goes into that video is really a lot. And I think if I had more skill, if I knew what I was doing a bit more, it probably wouldn't take so long. But I am self-taught. I never had even picked up a DSLR camera before all of this, and I'm still working out how to use it. Every single time I sit down to film a video, like before I filmed this video, it took me about an hour and a half to set up because I just couldn't get the lighting right. There's still so much more I need to improve on and learn, and it is really hard work. So I will obviously prep for a video, so I need to firstly think of an idea, which is very difficult when you're uploading videos every single week. It's not been quite 2 years since I started doing that, but it's been a year and a half. So I mean, I have 100 videos on my channel now, and thinking of a new idea every week is really difficult. Once I've got the idea, I then have to prep the video. So if it's a makeup video, I need to sort sort all of the products out. I need to go out and buy products because I don't want to use the same ones all the time, and then I have to test them. I have to test out the makeup at home. If it didn't go right, I need to do it again using a different product. Then I have to film, which is probably the biggest palaver out of the whole thing. And then comes the editing, which is also quite time consuming because I'm a perfectionist and I'm not just going to do a quick edit and get it up. I spend a lot of time, I mean hours and hours and hours and hours on my videos. I hope that in time I will get more used to my camera and I will work out some lighting strategy that actually works, and then maybe I would consider uploading more than once a week. But at the moment this is what I can handle while still keeping the quality up and to a standard that I'm happy with. If I was to do 2 a week, I would just fall apart because I wouldn't have the ideas. The quality of the videos I just know would not be as good and I wouldn't be happy, and it would just be a disaster because every time I upload a video now I'm so happy to upload it. I'm excited to upload it. I've worked really hard on it and I'm proud of everything that I've done, and I want to keep it that way for as long as possible. So if I get to the stage where I feel like I can still be proud of everything I put up and it happens to be 2 a week, then I want to do it. But at the moment this is what I can handle and that's what I'm going to stick to. So another kind of downside I would say is just the pressure of creating videos that are good and videos that are going to do well in terms of views, and that your subscribers, I guess, keep growing. You kind of do get a bit caught up in it because sometimes I have to take a step back and think, like, what I have already is incredible, and if it just stopped still now I would be more than happy because it's incredible. But there is a pressure. It's really hard not to compare yourself to others, and that does put a lot of pressure on me. I do feel like I constantly have to be thinking of new things and thinking of original ideas, which is another double-edged sword because there's been a few times where I've uploaded a video that was really original. I've never seen anyone else do it before, but it hasn't done very well in terms of views, and then I upload an ASOS haul, which, you know, has been completely done to the ends of the earth, and that's the video that gets the most views on my channel that month. So it's really, really hard. It doesn't get me too far down. I just have to rise above it, but it is something that is worth mentioning because mentally, like, it is quite difficult, but it's worth it. The last kind of down point that I want to talk about, and it's the last negative thing I'm going to say in this video. After this it's all going to be about good things, but I do need to talk about it because it is a huge part of my life now and what I do, and that is hatred and negative comments. And negative, let's be honest, is a nice word for it because most of the time it's just plain nasty. And to be honest, when it first started happening it really did upset me because you just don't really think that when you upload a video talking about your favourite makeup products, it's harmless, and you don't really expect to get nasty comments. You don't really expect people to say horrible things to you. That's really upsetting when you do, especially when people are talking about your appearance or the way you speak. At first it was really upsetting, and then I think I moved on from being upset and it began to make me really angry. It began to really annoy me because I just couldn't wrap my head around the idea that somebody has just sat watching me talk about something that cannot possibly have offended them or upset them, and they feel the need to try and make me feel bad about myself and try and upset me and just say horrible things. That's bullying, and I've never been bullied before, luckily, until now. So obviously that is quite hard to deal with, and it made me really angry, and I went through a phase of replying to the comments, which looking back is really obviously not the right thing to do, but I couldn't help it. I had to say something back. And I just want to be clear, there is such a big difference between constructive criticism and hate, and a lot of people who leave hate like to disguise it as constructive criticism, and then I kind of get accused of not being able to take criticism. I can take criticism. I actually like criticism because I want to improve my videos. I need to know what you like and what you don't like, so I welcome constructive criticism with open arms, but there's such a huge difference and I cannot bear it. Someone says to me, your eyebrows are a total mess. Oh, but it's just constructive criticism. It's not, but okay. Now I'm at the point where I can expect to receive hateful comments on everything I do now. I expect it. Every Instagram post, every video. On Monday evenings when I post the video, I'm just aware that it's about to happen, and I always have to brace myself a bit. I have to be prepared, and I am. And now most of the time, if I get something that's really horrid, I just delete it because kind of out of sight, out of mind. I don't want this to be a negative place. I want everyone to come to my channel and feel good and feel happy and feel inspired. Sometimes I will admit, I give in to temptation and I will reply to them, but I say something like, you're obviously clearly having a really bad day today, like I hope it gets better. I'm sorry you felt the need to take it out on me, but I'm happy to take it if it made you feel better. Something like that, which is honestly true, because what I've realised now, getting older and wiser I suppose, and dealing with it on a daily basis, is that people who bully are not happy. Happy people are not mean to people. So who do we really need to feel sorry for? We don't need to feel sorry for me getting the horrid comments. We need to feel sorry for the people who are leaving them, because they are not happy people. Like Elwood says, happy people just don't kill people. And something that my dad said that really stuck in my mind was that the day that one of those people writes something to you and, you know, we agree with it, my parents agree with it, my boyfriend agrees with it, my friends agree with it, that's the day that it should upset me. But as of yet, that hasn't happened, so I'm good. So now moving on from that, I want to talk about all the lovely and wonderful things that have happened, all the highlights of the last 2 years, mainly 2016. I had a kind of tough start to 2016, but I really just made the best of it, and I have had such an amazing year. I'm almost gutted that it's over, but I know 2017 is just going to be just as good and better. So firstly, I've been on so many amazing trips this year. It's been so incredible. So I went to New York last January with Urban Decay, and we just had the most incredible time. Then I went to Paris with YSL, which was just such, they're just one of my favourite brands ever, and it honestly felt again like a dream. I was riding on the back of a motorbike through Paris and just like, is this real life? That is what it felt like. Is this really real life? Then I went to Amsterdam and I went to the Victor and Rolf house, and I actually sat down with Victor and Rolf themselves. This is probably one of my main highlights because it just meant so much to me, because Bonbon has been my favourite perfume for ever since it came out actually, which is maybe 3 or 4 years. And when I was modelling, I was working at the launch of the perfume in Selfridges. We all really, really wanted to keep the bottle at the end of it because it was half empty, and we were like, oh, I hope we can keep it. And they didn't let us keep it. And Victor and Rolf were actually there. They were doing a signing, but we didn't get anywhere close to them. I had no reason to talk to them. So to be there 2 years later, actually in their studio with them talking about the perfume, was so surreal. It's how have we gone from there to there? And I actually told them about it, and they were so upset. They had no idea that they were like, oh my god, we would have let you keep the perfumes. So I think it was the events company that had kind of said we couldn't have it. And then finally in November I went to Bangkok with Pandora, who again are just one of my favourite brands. You guys know, you probably noticed I wear my Pandora bracelet every single day, and we went to visit their factory where all the jewellery is made, and it was just a once in a lifetime experience. It made me love my Pandora jewellery so much more, seeing how it's actually made. And I'm going to talk about this in a blog post in March about the factory and how ethical and lovely it is, so keep an eye out for that. Not anyone from the street can just wander in and go into the factory, so I felt really privileged, and it was just an incredible experience, and I love Pandora, so it was amazing. Also, just working with brands has been such a highlight of my year. I haven't done that much sponsored work, as you've probably noticed. There aren't many sponsored videos on my channel, there aren't that many sponsored pictures on my Instagram, and so one of the brand highlights is definitely Clinique, because I use a Clinique product, probably several Clinique products every single day. Also Hollister, I've worked with 4 times now over the last 2 years across my channel and my blog and my Instagram, and that's huge for me because, as most of you all know, I worked in Hollister in the store for 3 years, but to work with them on this level now is just so surreal. That's one of the biggest highlights for me, going from working in the store to working on fashion posts for my blog for them. Another highlight of this year was I did a shoot for Accessorize, and it was actually not for my YouTube, for my blog, or for anything. It was actually for Accessorize's website, Accessorize's social media, email, newsletters, that kind of thing. And it was very strange for me because obviously I was modelling for 4 years. I did a lot of shoots and I didn't really enjoy it too much, and it was definitely more of a model shoot than a blogger, YouTuber job. That's what it felt like. For the first time in 2 years, I didn't have control over the styling or control over the makeup, which was a bit hard to deal with because when you're used to having creative control over everything, doing. That's what I like to have. Like, I'm a bit of a control freak, so to let go of that was quite difficult, but it was just great to do something else, like on another platform, not just mine, and it's really inspired me. I want to do more stuff like that in 2017, and obviously I'm with Storm now, and they represent me as a YouTuber, but we're kind of hoping to do some cool things in 2017 and cross it over a bit and just see what happens. So speaking of Storm, that's my next highlight. So I signed with Storm Models this year, and it was a dream come true. Even though they don't, like I said, they don't represent me officially as a model, they officially represent me as a YouTuber and blogger, but we are hoping to kind of do something cool this year, crossing it over with the modelling side. Maybe. I don't want to say too much because it might not happen. I haven't fully decided what I want to do yet. Even so, I went to Storm Models when I was 15 and they rejected me, which is very sad, and they said it was my height. They take like 5'9", 5'10" and above, but to go back there 6 years later and sign to them, it was just so exciting. That's definitely one of my highlights of this year. It's just like, even now, I just love going in. It's so exciting for me. Another highlight has to be Beautycon. I went to Beautycon this year, and I actually did go to Beautycon last year, but my channel had just started and I felt like more of an observer rather than taking part. But this year I had a meetup, I did a panel. It was just so incredible to meet so many people that watch my channel. It just made it all real, because it's very easy for me to sit here and say, oh look how many subscribers I have, but it's just a number and it doesn't really sink in until you see people there and they know who you are and they say, I love your videos, and I got the YSL lipstick that you said, and I'm wearing the Benefit highlighter that you love, and it's like, oh my god, this is what it's for. It just put everything into perspective, and it just motivated me so much more. And oh god, I just loved meeting you all so much. Everyone was so lovely, and it was just the most heartwarming, rewarding experience I have ever had, and I want to make that another priority in 2017. I want to try and make an effort to meet as many of you as possible. And then my last few highlights, I have to mention that I've met Charlotte Tilbury twice, and she's just like the best thing ever. You all have to follow her on Instagram and just hear her talk about makeup. She is just fab, and I've had the privilege to meet her twice at like launches of her new products, and that's been a total dream, because obviously you guys know Charlotte Tilbury is my favourite makeup brand probably, and to meet her is just wonderful. Also, I had some columns in Shout magazine, which was amazing, because I used to religiously read Shout magazine when I was a teenager, and 4 months in a row I had a double page spread and I could fill it with whatever I wanted. It was so lovely to be creative again on another platform that wasn't necessarily my own. So now I want to talk about 2017, all the things I hope to achieve and work on this year. I think firstly, my focus will always be on this channel. I'm so passionate about improving the quality of the content. I really want to work on some more original ideas for this year. Like I said before, sometimes it's a bit tricky finding original ideas, because all the kind of classic video formats that have been done a zillion times are very popular and they do very well and people really enjoy them. So I am going to continue doing those. Like ASOS hauls are my favourite videos to film, and I know that they're your favourite videos to watch, but I also just want to like spread my wings a bit and think of some really cool, interesting things that maybe you haven't seen before. I just want this to become your favourite channel to watch. That's my goal. I also want to travel as much as I can. I want to just make the most of every opportunity that I'm given, which I do feel like I do anyway, but I just want to keep that up. I'm also relaunching my blog this year, and I don't think it's not going to be up today, because it's been a very slow process redesigning it, but it's going to be up this month, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into that. I think I'm going to focus it like as a fashion blog, more outfits rather than like products, because I personally find reading about products boring. I really just love fashion blogs, so I think that's what my blog is going to be mainly about. I'm also really interested in now branching out of YouTube and seeing what else there is to offer, possibly going back and doing some modelling. Like I said, I had a great time on the accessorised shoots. Also, another thing that some of you may not already know about me is that I have a background in acting. I went to theatre school, I had an agent for a while, and I was working now and then, nothing huge, but that's something that I really want to start again. I think it definitely took a back seat in my life when this whole YouTube thing started to blow up and become my full-time career. I just don't see why there should be any limits, and acting is a passion of mine, and that's something that I really hope I can somehow find my way back into this year. I'm not saying I'm going to be on stage or in a film this year, but even if I made one step towards it, I would be happy. Last year my New Year's resolution was to start ballet again, and I actually did it. For the first time in my life, I fulfilled a New Year's resolution, and I'm so proud. Loads of you asked me if I would ever design my own like fashion line or beauty line. Honestly, you don't know, that's probably one of my biggest dreams, but I just don't think I'm there yet. I think we have to give it a bit more time before I can do something of that scale. But I mean, if you want to know if I want to do it, absolutely. I already have visions in my mind of like my makeup line. I sit down and think about these things probably more than I should, but it's definitely something that I want to do. Whether it will happen this year, I don't know, but eventually 100%. I really want to collab with some more YouTubers this year. I've only done 2 collabs in my YouTube lifetime with my friends Susie and Kate, and they were great, and I really want to do more of that this year. So leave me comments of who you'd like me to do videos with, because I'd really be interested to know. And to be honest, I really want to do more brand work. I want to do more sponsored videos, and that is kind of like a touchy subject with people, but I just want to explain to you why. I did minimal sponsored work this year, which I'm really proud of. I'm glad that I didn't sell myself out and just take loads of opportunities. I want you to know that I actually turned down probably 95% of the opportunities that I'm offered to work with brands, because I'm so aware of the fact that you all watch my channel because you trust my judgment, you trust my taste, you trust me. I like to think that you trust me, and I would never want to betray that trust by promoting something that I didn't 100% love or believe in. And I can put my hand on my heart and tell you that the brands that I've worked with this year, Clinique, Hollister, Boo Avenue, Victor and Rolf, they're all brands that I genuinely love, and that's absolutely not going to change. I just hope that this year my channel's bigger now. I hope that I have more opportunities to work with brands that I love. So finally, I'm just going to grab a few of your Twitter questions just to round up. The first is, what's your greatest achievement from the past 2 years on YouTube? And I have to say, it was posting my Marvin Gaye cover. I am unbelievably proud of that video. It was kind of a big deal for me to sing on YouTube. I have obviously a background in singing. I went to theatre school, but I'd never done that on my channel before, and I was very frightened to post it, but I decided I wanted to do it because I wanted to show you guys that there was something more to me. And in answer to some of the other questions, yes, I want to post more covers, but I was just so proud of that video. I think a lot of people thought that I just paid a load of money to get someone to produce the video for me, but that's just not what happened at all. Honestly, no money went into that video at all. I called all the locations up myself and just begged them to let us film in there for like an hour. So we literally had an hour in each location, and when you've set up your camera and set up the lights and then taken them down, that leaves you with about 40 minutes to film. It was actually just a mutual friend of mine that came to film for us, and he just turned out to be wonderful. And we sat up and we ordered a takeaway and we edited it all night until about 6 a.m. until it was literally getting light. Yeah, and it was all just done with no money, no budget. It was just favours and determination, and I planned it all myself, and I just didn't think I could pull off something like that, but I did, and it's the thing that I'm proudest of that I think I've ever done, because it wasn't just the singing, it wasn't just the performing, but it was the whole production. It was all down to me, and it was probably the most stressful week of my life, but it paid off and it was so worth it, and I would do it all over again. My biggest challenge on YouTube has definitely been getting to grips with the whole technical side of it. Like I said earlier, the camera, the lighting, the microphone, the editing, all of that, and also coming up with ideas. Just the whole production side of YouTube. Sitting here talking to you is easy as pie. Everything else is a great challenge for me. There will definitely be some videos with Coco this year. In fact, there will be one very, very soon. Coco's channel is doing so well at the moment. Obviously, she doesn't have a lot of time to post because of school. I don't know how YouTubers who go to school manage it. So yeah, there's going to be some videos with her very soon. So one thing that being a YouTuber has taught me is that you cannot please everyone. Not everyone is going to like you. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but as long as you are just true to yourself and you're kind to everyone, that's the best thing you can be. And also that there are no limits. You can do anything you put your mind to. I've achieved things that I never thought were possible. I never imagined that I would be sitting here 2 years later and there would be nearly 500,000 people here. If you want something, just go for it. and don't have any regrets. You'll only regret the things you didn't do. If I hadn't made this channel, then I have no idea what life would be like right now. So I'm just so glad that I just went for it, and I decided not to care what anyone thought about me. I just went for what I wanted to do, and it's paid off. There has been a lot of times where I felt like giving up. Sometimes it has got a bit much for me. I mean, even before this video I had a meltdown because I couldn't get the lighting right. It's really tough, but I'm not a quitter, and I've said this before, but when I feel like something's getting on top of me, I just turn it around and I get on top of it. Whatever it is that's stressing me out, I get on top of it. I've decided just to never let things defeat me. I'm going to battle through everything I come across. There definitely has been times where I felt like, how can I carry this on? How can I do this? I'm out of my depth. But I have managed to get past it, and it's still, I'm not sailing through it. This is not an easy breezy experience. It is quite difficult, but it's worth every second. It makes me so happy, and I will never give up. I'll never give up on anything ever again. I've decided. So that's the end of the video. I think this is probably the longest video I've ever posted, but it actually felt so good just to let it all out and tell you guys how I feel and just reflect on the last 2 years and how incredible this whole experience has been so far. And I'm just so excited for this year and the next year and just the future in general and what it holds. And like I said at the start of the video, I just wouldn't have any of it if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you so much. I just want to give you all the biggest virtual hug. You have made life a dream. So yeah, a million zillion thank yous. I hope you all have a happy and successful 2017. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week in my video. Bye!